Welcome to, or welcome back to Total Spotfest. That is Jamie Faulkner. I am JJ Brownlee. We are back at you here. We got. I know. You complained about me doing the same thing every week, so at least I'm doing it backwards this time.
I'm just looking forward to this action-packed show we got going on, JJ.
You only let me finish here. I have quips. I have new quips ready prepared. No, I'm not. I don't remember what it was now. No. We got a great show coming up for you guys here because we have the build up for Full Gear. That's about it on that side of things. But no, lots of stuff going on in wrestling. We're gonna continue our Thankful series. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. We do appreciate you guys giving us some of your time. If this is your first time here, you can drop a comment down below if you want to join the conversation. Hit us up on Twitter at Total Spotfest. And as always, like, subscribe, share, all those things. Help us out quite a bit. Jamie, I know
thank you.
Yeah, please and thank you. Tell a friend. You can share this too. Whatever you want.
And then they tell two friends. And then they tell two friends. And so on and so on and so on.
See, what happens is you hear, and you got to get two people to subscribe, and then each of them gets two people, and then each of them gets two people, but you're at the top here. And so what'll happen? No, this is our pyramid scheme.
Pyramid scheme. Yeah, you get two people to subscribe. We'll get two people to subscribe to you. Okay, that's how it works.
All right, so back in 07, in 08, sorry, 08, 09, right? Because I was in sales at the time, and that was right the recession. Everybody, right? I was out of work for a hot minute there, and salesmen out of work. We were a dime a dozen, so I was just taking interviews wherever I could, right? So I took this interview with this company. I don't remember what it was, but literally go to it, and it is a pyramid scheme that they are. So here's how it works. You got to build your own network out. And I go, oh shit, I can't get out of here fast. I'm like blocked in with like 3 people. And yeah, just fucking stupidness. Jay, how you been doing, Jamie? I know your week's been busy as hell, but how you been, man?
Yeah, sickness is starting to run through the house a little bit. little scared about that. Jen's doing clinical stuff, and it's 2 days in a row that I have to be up at 6 a.m. and one of those days is recording day. So we'll see how it goes.
We'll see if you make it through this. That's for sure.
I got 4 more weeks of it. And then her semester's done, and she's only 1 semester away from becoming a nurse as long as she passes her NCLEX. So you're really excited for her.
You're coming around the home stretch, man. You're almost there. It's almost in sight. Getting close.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fantastic. Well, we are gearing up here. I hope everybody out there, wherever you are, you're staying warm. I know a lot of the country's going to be cold. Shit, I saw Buffalo's going to have 6 feet of snow is projected for Sunday during the football game. Did you see that?
That's why I picked Cleveland to win.
If they have 6 feet of snow during that game,
stamp it. If there is snow on the ground, freaking Nick Chubb is gonna run all over him. That's because that's all you got. You can't really pass in snow, so it's a running game. And who's got the better running game? The Cleveland Browns.
Fuck Cleveland.
I know it pains. I know.
Fuck it. Yeah. You're not wrong.
I hate the Browns.
You are not wrong in that sentiment, though. I don't know. I just want to see it because it's like I remember. I've seen plenty of those games in Buffalo and, all those, but it's like, those are the games where who knows what could happen, right? You get that much snow, it doesn't matter who's even out there. It's just like a slog fest. So, by the way, Steelers are undefeated with TJ Watt in the lineup. Just saying.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, we're not talking about football, guys. We're talking about wrestling here. So, wrestling. So we lots of stuff been going on around. So we're gonna take a little tour around wrestling. We mentioned last week Journey Pro made the announcement that they're gonna have their final show. It now has a name. It now has a ticket on sale time, and it has a main event. So December 29th, we already knew about that. It's being called A Journey's End. Good little throw out to the World's End with
yeah, I enjoyed it.
But the Journey's End tickets go on sale tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Last Journey Pro show gonna be at the Agnes. There'll be some tears. There's gonna be lots of fan service. I can already tell, but It's going to be a great time. So come join us at Agnes. They did announce the main event is the only match they've announced thus far, and it's for the total possession of the Journey Pro title. So you win this, you get to keep the belt forever.
Yeah, it's your belt.
And it's no surprise who it is. So it's the effigies that they've kind of already put out there. But Christian Rose, defending champion, first Journey Pro champion, going up against our man Kenny Alfonso, Gary fucking J. And, of course, the master of the Lion Tamer, Mr. Jeremy Wyatt.
What are the chances of him giving me a Lion Tamer? I give it 0.000001.
You see, there's just a twat hair's worth, right? Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And then hopefully he'll flip me off or something.
I think the chances are pretty good of him starting to do a Lion Tamer and then dropping it and flipping you off.
Which would be like the best present ever.
That's really what you've been trying to get, honestly, during this whole feud.
Yeah. Like, I still want one for a win in front of my face. Or I get that. I've already said that, but like, I will stop chanting Lion Tamer as soon as I get one for a win live.
Right, for a win.
But I will leave Jeremy Wyatt alone with a Lion Tamer if he'll just tell me to fuck off. And he does not understand what those words mean to me specifically.
Well, he has jarred at you quite a few times, but
yeah, but he's never told me to fuck off. Okay, I need to hear those words.
We know Jeremy's. I say Jeremy, if you're listening, we know better. He's not listening to us. So anybody out there, tweet at him, let him know. You fucking podcast boys, whatever. Consistency is great. More stuff, of course, will be coming up here. As we got plenty of time, but definitely get your tickets for it. It's going to be a great time. Thursday, December 29th, FYI, Thursday night. So, Journey Pro going on. We still haven't made a decision on Glory Pro. Well, we're leaning towards it, but getting in December, it just gets to be, especially because that's a week and a half before Christmas. So we're like, Did you see Glory Pro make an announcement for their January show?
No.
So the January show is a Saturday show, and it's over in the Del Mar Loop, and I can't remember the name of the theater. Is it the Del Mar? I can't remember, but whatever it is. So it's over over in Del Mar, and they just have just like the announcement poster sort of thing, right? So they got some heads there. Got Camaro Jackson, Jake something on there. Oh. You're looking at it right now. Kylie Ray announced for the show, and he's hot. He's spicy. He tastes great. Curry Man. That's a total TNA Mark throwback I just did right there.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Daniels' alter ego Curry Man.
Yeah, which I think's great. It's WrestlePocalypse.
Thank you, WrestlePocalypse.
And to the Del Mar Hall.
Del Mar Hall. I can never remember the name of that place, but yeah. Sorry, that's cool. Of course, they haven't announced a single match for that, but still, good stuff.
I mean, Kylie Ray's gonna be there. That's good enough for me.
Kylie Ray. Yep. I've never seen Curry Man live. I loved the Curry Man shtick. Did you? What did you think of Curry Man?
Yeah. No. It was something.
The first time it came out, it was like, "What the fuck is this?" Right? But then it grew. Yeah. Hell on me.
They also had Shark Boy, so their level was kind of low. So. Because he came out right after the Stone Cold version of Shark Boy.
Right.
He came out right after.
The show, where he did the clam juice chug and the whole thing. But I don't know, it was one of those unexpected things that grew into like, because after like a couple matches and the crowd started doing his stupid little dance and it got cool. Anyway, Glory Pro's killing it, definitely well worthwhile. So. Speaking of independence, we here at Glory Pro. We're not Glory Pro. Hello.
We are not.
Words are tough, y'all. we here at Total Spotfest do like to shine a light on the independent wrestling circuit. So every week we like to, talk about a wrestler that maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't. Jamie, I'm assuming you have somebody ready to go for our independent wrestler spotlight.
I do. I really do. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even gonna lie. This was kind of low hanging fruit. He's been on AEW. I think he's still under contract with AEW technically, but I haven't seen him on live TV in eons. He actually just recently on the 14th of November had a great match with one Marco Stunt. He was at one time the hottest wrestler in all of professional wrestling that wasn't named Danhausen. I think that's a very accurate statement.
That's a good
I have a signed autograph of him over here. I'm talking about none other than the hot one himself, Fuego del Sol.
Fuego, when we saw him at All Out, his line was as long as anybody else's line.
Yeah. And then he got all excited because we did the NWO, with him. Right. He's like, oh man, he got all excited. It was great.
That's still on the main page of our website, if I remember right, under the About Us section.
What is that website?
TotalSpotfest.com.
Oh, TotalSpotfest.com.
Yeah, there's a merch table there. You can listen to all of our episodes on audio format. Nice little player. Nice handy place. TotalSpotfest.com. But yeah.
Buy a shirt.
Get your heel shit shirt. Obligatory black wrestling t-shirt. There's a
One
Lion Tamer
ring
shirt
to
there.
rule them all shirt. Yeah, there are a couple Lion Tamer shirts.
We do have that, which you still haven't ordered that shirt, have you?
It's not about you right now. It's about them. It's about our listeners.
Oh, okay. Touche. But no, Fuego's great, man. I like it because, yes, you're right. He did get the contract. They do their contract. I like the fact that even though he's probably still on contract with AEW, because he's done some dark stuff recently, if I remember right. And did he get squashed on? I think he got squashed on Rampage a couple weeks back, but still able to do all those independent dates. He's a great guy. He is a great talent. Yeah, good choice, man. I know it's low hanging fruit. I'll give that to you. But hey,
he's kind of, everybody knows the name. It's Fuego.
Still an independent wrestler.
Damn Skippy.
Where can we find him?
Master of the Tornado.
All right, where can we find Fuego?
Well, you can find him everywhere. It's pretty simple. He's on Twitch. He's on the Instagrams. Of course, he's on Twitter at Fuego del Sol for everything.
All right, so
if you don't know how to spell Fuego del Sol, shame on you.
It's not that hard, even for my phonetic spelling ass. So links for everything down below. Check out our book. Check out good old Fuego, man. Give Fuego some love. All right. You want to be thankful, or
let's be thankful.
Okay. So we started this. Like I said, this is our November thing that we're doing here in honor of Thanksgiving, because as Jamie puts it, Jamie doesn't like to gloss over the holidays. Thanksgiving sometimes gets lost in the mix, and we don't want to do that.
Hashtag forgotten holiday.
So, doing things that we are thankful for. Wrestling edition.
Yes.
All right. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
Yeah, I went first last week. You can go first.
So that's what I was gonna say. I was going to, but I wanted to check first. So, so last week I did an inanimate object. I did the basically video rental stores. Broad, I know, but specifically Hollywood Rental in Decatur, Illinois. Hollywood Video in Decatur, Illinois. And so I was thinking about a couple different ways to go this week here, and I ended up on staying on inanimate objects. I'll explain. Okay. So, what is JJ thankful for wrestling wise? I am thankful for TNA's 6-sided ring.
Ah, that's a great one.
Yes.
Excellent.
So, as naturally happened post Monday Night Wars. Then you had, the ruthless aggression. I weaned out of wrestling a little bit. I'm like, meh, they got more and more PG, and then I just, I got at that age, right at the end of college, shortly after college, and it just kind of, wrestling dipped off. I still checked it out occasionally, watched WrestleMania every year, right? But that was pretty much, it for a little bit. And then I remember, I saw commercials for it, but I never really paid much attention. But then I saw at a bar in Leawood, Kansas, next to where my buddy had a townhome, and it was on a Saturday night, and they had TNA wrestling on there, and I was watching this match in a 6-sided ring, and I go, "What is this fucking madness? There's turnbuckles everywhere." It's like, and it was an X Division match. Like, I don't remember who off the top of my head who it was, but I think it was like Low Key and somebody else. I mean, who knows, right? But it was unbelievable. So I immediately then the next week started looking up and setting my DVR, and that's what got me into TNA, which is really what got me back into wrestling, and specifically what got me into independent wrestling, because at that time, Ring of Honor. I got into Ring of Honor. I started looking at their back catalog to learn more about it. AAA, because they, New Japan, a lot of New Japan, like Ibushi and Tanahashi wrestled in TNA. They had a lot of crossover with New Japan. So, and really what pulled me in was that crazy ass gimmicky 6-sided ring. So that's what I'm thankful for.
That is pretty damn solid.
I know wrestlers weren't the biggest fan of it because there's so many angles and there's a lot more hard spots. But hey, whatever.
Yeah, it was a bit unforgiving to a few of them, but at the end of the day, it still was still entertaining. I really enjoyed it. I hated it when it went away, and I'm glad they brought it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I wish they still have it. They bring it back every once in a while now, but it's just not the same.
Like X Division should only be in 6 sides. That's all I got.
Absolutely. Say. I mean, the Ultimate X match was built around that ring basically because it perfectly lines up because of its shape. But whatever. Yeah, that's my thankful for this week. Jamie, what about yourself, man?
So I did a match last time, and I felt like it was a solid, representation, especially for me. Mm-hmm. But I also want to go with I am old AF, and
you're so old, dude, so old.
I do want to say that there was a time, arguably the greatest time to be a wrestling fan.
Okay.
And we were teenagers during that time. And I do want to give thanks to the Monday Night Wars. The Monday Night Wars took wrestling from eat your vitamins, brother, say your prayers,
right,
to there's boobs on TV, dudes going through chairs and ladders off of huge ass ladders through giant tables, like crazy ass spots, killer music, like heavy metal, like it was unbelievable. And what they said on TV was absolutely insane. And
yes,
I have to say, a lot of my vocabulary is probably due to the Monday Night Wars.
He's not wrong.
Like, who's my favorite wrestler of all time? Shawn Michaels. When was he most popular? Okay, what about on the WCW side? Who is my favorite wrestler on the WCW side? The Chris Jericho version. Absolutely, because he did a goddamn lion tamer. But also, he was amazing on the stick. Like, you had some of the best talkers of all time during that. You had Stone Cold. You had The Rock. You had Chris Jericho. You had Shawn Michaels. Triple H is good on the stick. Like, you have all these amazing dudes. As much as I freaking hate Jeff Jarrett. He's not bad on the stick.
Oh, he
You know,
wasn't bad on the stick.
he is now. Yeah, but anyway, that time was by far the best time to be a fan, and I am lucky to say I'm old enough to really truly enjoy it in its prime. Because there's the older guys who are like in their 20s and 30s that were into it like we were, but since we were teenagers, man, like we grew up with it. Like it
It
was
was the
what we think of wrestling.
like I remember like at the peak of it, you couldn't go anywhere and not see an Austin 316 and an NWO shirt. Like you couldn't be out in public. Like it was the British invasion. It was CBGBs in 1969. It was, 1979, excuse me. It was that, quintessential moment, not just for professional wrestling. I would argue, to your point, that professional wrestling wouldn't be around in the way that it is without the Monday Night Wars. 100%.
Full on believe AEW wouldn't be around.
AEW wouldn't be around. I think the Indies would be much. It'd be what it was before, super niche, really small, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. But it normalized it. Like everybody watched wrestling, or at least knew about what was going on to some extent.
Really?
Now,
one of my girlfriends from high school would watch wrestling with me, not because I wanted to, because she wanted to. What?
It was.
I mean, I don't have that now, but I have daughters. But
your wife begrudgingly watches some wrestling. Well, you got her to a show, for God's sake.
I did, and she had a good time.
She had a great time.
Thank you, Heidi Howitzer.
So, Monday Night Wars. I mean, I think that's very poignant. That's a great thing to be thankful for, Jamie. And yeah, fantastic choice this week, man. 100%.
Thank you. I have him every now and again.
He hits it out of the park a little bit. I love too, because it's like like I said, me and Jamie are the same age, right? So we went through this about the same time in our life, and there definitely was WWF people, because it was still WWF at the time, WCW people, and there was definitely the I'm on both sides of the fence people, right? There was 3 very distinct camps in that. And it was one of those things, the people that were in the middle. So I was more of a WCW mark, right?
I was more middle. I started full on WCW, and then when Jericho left, I went middle.
I hear you. I
had to.
I was a WCW mark, but then I kept peaking, just because you had to, right? You had to see what was going on. Mm-hmm. They would talk about each other's shows at the same time. I mean, it's the sort of thing I don't really know if it's ever been done in sports and entertainment since then, or even before then. Really,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But the ratings that they drew back then.
Oh my God!
People can't touch those these days. Their low was a 4. Their low was a 4.
Right. Like someone's getting fired. You're at a 4, right? Shit, they sold out. Remember, WCW had Goldberg, the culmination of the first NWO storyline for real, when Goldberg took the belt off of Hogan, was at the Georgia Dome. On a 2 weeks notice, they sold out the Georgia Dome, which is no longer there, but that was a 75,000 seat football arena. They sold out like that for a Monday Night Wrestling show.
They legit drew a 6. They're drawing 5s consistently.
Yeah.
But they drew a 6 in some matches. The Bill Goldberg Diamond Dallas Page match from October 26, 1998. Just happened to be Googling it. Not that I have it memorized. Mm-hmm. Drew a 7.18.
That's nuts. I mean, that is I don't even know what that is in today's TV speak. Is that like
Like, I
that's
don't know.
nuts, man. That's like fucking crazy. So
Well, you hear that, but then here you go. The highest for WWE TV ratings of all time was an 8.1 on May 10th of 1999.
was that Mick Foley getting? Was that Mankind winning the title?
I don't know.
Because I know that
Or
that one got. That was like the turning point because they tried to like tease it over on WCW, and it ended up being that everybody left and went to go watch that.
yeah. May 10th, 1991. The highest rated Monday night Attitude Era main event was a 6-man tag match between Triple H, Undertaker, Shane McMahon versus Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock.
Okay.
This Raw was 1 month before Mr. McMahon turned heel again, and the good guys won a nice brawl to help cement Monday night ratings in WWE's favor.
So it was pretty much par for the course, Attitude
Yeah.
Era Raw. Because I mean, and people forget this. It's like, especially when we talk about Stone Cold. Stone Cold only was Stone Cold for what, 6 years, right?
Yeah.
And that was it. He retired and he's done. And he pops back in every once in a while. Yeah, but his longevity, like, it wasn't that long of a period at all. And he was face and heel as Stone Cold. I can't count as many times. People always thought it was because it's the most indelible image. Austin versus McMahon, right? It's probably the best rivalry that WWF has ever had. It's up there. Maybe not the best, but I would put it up there on the top list, whatever it is.
It'd be on the Mount Rushmore of them for sure.
Yeah, but he definitely sided as corporate like Steve Austin a bunch of times.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, before Stone Cold Steve Austin, there really weren't tweeners either.
No. I think that the closest I would say there would be was The Undertaker, just because he was so popular for being the gimmick, even though he was definitely a heel when he first came in 91, right? But that's not really a tweener. He just was a popular heel.
Yeah. Whereas Stone Cold was 100% like I think he did give birth to the tweener. Like, I think it's him and The Rock.
I think him and The Rock, and eventually pretty much everybody in WWE, ended up being a tweener. And now we talk about AEW is basically all tweeners, right? But I mean, before him, because there wasn't really like the anti-hero, right? Even with WCW, NWO was such a cultural phenomenon, but just because it was the Hulk Hogan being a bad guy. And so people, once again, they weren't tweeners. They were straight heels.
But they were the most popular damn group of all time.
Absolutely. Well, did you see that thing on Twitter that WWE put up there? It's like you can only keep one faction. Did you see that graphic? I think it was over the weekend they put it up. Did you see that?
No.
All right. Said you could only keep one, and we've totally diverged into a whole Attitude Era. Spoiler alert: we don't have much to say about Dynamite, so we're filling time here for sure. All right. So the graphic was you could only keep one faction. Let's play this game. We're going Fantasy Booking Island. We're going to Impossible Game.
Okay.
Possible Game Island. So it was D-Generation X, NWO, Evolution, the Four Horsemen, and there might have been another one, but I can't remember them. They're not important.
Only keep one?
Only keep one.
For life.
I'm with you. I mean, as much as I want to do the Horsemen, they didn't need each other to be as popular. I mean, it was a different time.
Well, let me ask you this question. It's a different time. Exactly. What did the Four Horsemen do for wrestling? Right?
They inspired a bunch of future wrestlers.
They inspired future wrestlers. Absolutely. What did the NWO do for wrestling?
Print money. I mean, let's be
DX did the
on.
same thing. Like
But
those two were the quintessential top tier
yeah,
of all factions.
and Evolution you can get rid of immediately, right? That doesn't even count. It's like fuck them. Right?
No.
It's like what if DX and the Four Horsemen had a baby out of wedlock? That's what Evolution was.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Spirit Squad, Mean Street Posse, come on.
But and for those, because I remember at the time that was the big thing, because you go to the mall, and you go to Hot Topic, there'd be DX and there'd be NWO, right? Everywhere you'd go, DX and DX getting banned from being worn to high schools because it's like they're suck it. And,
yeah. I got sent home wearing a suck it shirt.
Yep, right, yep. But
Got that shirt, Gadzooks.
Gadzooks, God, I remember Gadzooks.
Right, yeah, we're so old.
Random ass. I remember malls, man. God damn, we are old.
Yeah,
but I would say not entirely true. But without NWO, DX never would have been as big a thing, or would have ever really happened. I don't want to call DX reactionary. But in a manner of speaking, a lot of what WWE did, because they, and I think they did a pretty good job on remember the old WWE Network documentaries, the Monday Night Wars? Mm-hmm. I feel like they did a very good job of being pretty transparent and open to everybody, right? It wasn't super like WWE, whereas super scripted about, the narrative, right? They were pretty open about this. I mean, and they even had Vince McMahon talking about how he almost lost his company, right? That's a pretty unbelievable thing from a WWE produced thing. But because they basically were getting shellacked in the ratings, and then NWO happened, and they were getting buried to the point that they almost died. And they, to their credit, opened it up to the talent and said, what do you guys want to do? Which was the smartest move they could have ever made. Because then Shawn Michaels and Triple H are like, we have this idea for a thing. That was DX. But once again, without NWO burying them, I don't know if you would have seen it to that level.
Yeah.
So if
it wasn't for those factions, the Monday Night Wars would have sucked.
Yeah. I mean, it was who would have thought? Gang warfare is what we always wanted in wrestling, and we never got it up until then.
Dude, I don't know how many people had Voodoo Child playing like all the time. Like you hear Voodoo Child, that's so funny. Like when we were doing the wrestling games and everything, like if you're Hogan, somebody play Voodoo Child, and then like you're in the dorm or you're like hanging out at a friend's house and you hear Papa, like, who's watching wrestling? Like, it's not because they want to listen to Jimi Hendrix,
Oh yeah. It's like you heard Voodoo Child, you knew, wrestling fan, and you're about a 25% chance to be right. It could just be that random stoner listening to Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, when I was playing college football, man, like all the offensive linemen, when I was there, then I went to the defense. But when I was on defense too, like all of us would hang out together and we'd all watch wrestling. And like, it was always, we start with WCW and then flip on commercials to WWE. Then we'd flip back. But yeah, it's like two suites everywhere. Like we were just going nuts. Like, it was so fun. We even did it on the field a few times. That was a good time.
Oh yeah. See, because I remember, because I think that because we're 6 months apart in age, but I'm actually I'm actually a class behind Jamie because where we were born and different whatever, this and that. So by the time my freshman year started, the war was pretty much over. And, so the
Mhm.
culminations of a lot of that happened my junior and senior year of high school, your senior year and freshman year in college. So
Mhm.
by the time I got to
Yep.
college, it was pretty much just WCW still technically existed for a few months while I was in college, and then it got swallowed up. So, but
I
at the
still remember watching that episode too. I'm like, what the fuck is Shane McMahon doing on here?
well,
Like
we
that
actually
still like
because
gives me chills.
so we ended up what we did because at my fraternity we Monday night is when we had our chapter meetings, right? So we'd get everybody get home from class, get dinner, then we go do chapter, and there's me, my buddy Zeke, eBay, Fish, and about 3 or 4 others, and we would be sitting there just like in the back, like we got it. Hey, Raw starting. Come on, let's wrap this up. I don't care about Homecoming. Come on, wrap this up. Let's go. you know, book our ass up to as soon as it was done. As soon as we could, we'd book our ass up, go into usually Zeke's room, go in there, turn it on, and he had a double TV set up. So we had WWE WrestleMania 2000 is the N64 version that we had our house game on, where we each had.
That's the goat. That's the
Mhm.
goat of wrestling
I
games.
loved it. Yep. So everybody had your own character. We had our own factions. And anyway, so we'd watch Raw on the one TV, and on the TV next to it, we'd be playing We'd be doing our version of Raw every week, and it was fantastic. But we watched the final night. We watched that. I remember watching that, and it was just like, oh man, just the gut. And then there was Sting and Ric Flair, like all the feels. Oh God. Shane McMahon, excuse me.
Yeah.
What? What
The
time to be
craziest
alive,
nights
man.
too.
It kills me that kids today, right? They'll never you'll never have that. I mean, do you
You'll
think
never have that.
I mean, even with AEW's rise, I don't think it's ever going to be the same as it was. Nothing will be the same as it was back then.
I mean, something crazy would have to happen. You'd have to have people walk across the line, just like they did back then, but mega stars.
Mhm.
Like, yes, Adam Cole is a big star. I'm not discounting him. If AJ Styles crossed the line, if John Cena crossed the line, if The Rock crossed the line, like if some of these people that you would never expect in a million years, that's the only way. They tried to do that with CM Punk, didn't exactly work. So.
Hmm.
Turns out he is a bastard. But anyway, I think eventually it could, but I don't think it'll be ever to that level. Like it'll be like a calm down version, a very much a calm down version.
Yeah, I agree with you because I think at the end of the day, you and I talked a lot earlier about the cultural significance of that time, right?
Yeah,
I don't. I mean, you never can see these things coming. Who knows, right? I mean, the Acclaim are the hottest thing ever, and it's permeated outside of wrestling. It's into pro sports now. Scissoring is the thing, right? But
yeah, it's everywhere.
that's as close as we've got to it being a big cultural thing, right? I don't think there's anything that's ever going to be as shocking and I blame our technology driven society. In the 90s we didn't have the internet, we didn't have all that, right? You had to tune in and watch TV, and I think that helped it kind of shine that light on it. Now you don't even have to, I mean, now you don't even, you can watch this in like bits and pieces, and it's just different. I don't know though.
I mean, and here's the thing too. Like our society today is considerably different. Back in the 90s, we were very immature, not easily offended.
Oh.
I mean, that's the thing. We weren't easily offended. We were very immature. Fart jokes ruled the world. I mean, hell, Dumb and Dumber was one of the best movies of the 90s. And what was the best scene? The Turbo Lack scene. It's just one of those things where today, 99% of the stuff that was on Raw and Nitro would not fly today.
Not a chance in
Like
hell.
because people get offended too easy these days. I still feel like we're a soft society right now, but that's a completely different subject.
That's
I'm
another
trying to
tangent for another day. Okay.
I'm trying to get my kids hard. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm just thinking like I don't
I
think
hear
you
you. I hear
could
you.
get edgy. You can't get edgy like that ever again because
Not like that.
our society will not allow that level of edginess ever again.
Yeah. I mean, look how much it took just to get "Scissor Me" onto a T-shirt. you know,
Oh, yeah. And I love that shirt.
and I do too. But back then, suck it, and like you said, showing boobs and massive cussing and just like the misogyny that you heard on, and just it was. If you really go back and like watch some old, oh my god.
One of the biggest characters was a pimp, and he had his prostitutes with him, and he called them hoes. That would not fly today.
He did team up with a male porn star for a while as well.
He sure did. You remember the incest angle between Mr. McMahon and Stephanie? Remember that whole angle? That wouldn't fly today.
Well, you'll say that incest angle. You had a handful of incest angles that were thrown out there. Kane murdered his mother and then had necrophilic sex with her. I mean, should we go on?
Triple H married a completely blacked out,
Yeah, he
drunk Stephanie McMahon.
roofied Steffi and then married her in Vegas. Oh my god.
Yeah. That shit would fly today, boys and girls.
I mean, even when TNA tried to get edgy, it was okay. TNA made a lot of decisions. Dixie Carter, Hulk Hogan start, right? Okay, a lot of poor decisions, and we don't want to dwell on all that. But in in their rut to try and make up ground, they tried to pull out some racy as much as they could. But even then, a decade, 15 years, 10, 12 years later, they couldn't do the same sort of stuff that they could do back in the Monday Night Wars thing. You had the AJ Styles with the random girl, who whatever. It just fell flat. But you're right. I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever see it again. So I'm glad to have lived through it. And I wish kids, anybody out there who's not well versed, doesn't understand some of the old timers like us, our affinity for the Monday Night War era, go back and watch some episodes. Seriously. Like, watch them in succession. See what we're talking about, man. Like, there's definitely, like, Paramount episodes and pay-per-views that you can find lists for on YouTube or wherever else, right? Bash at the Beach, where the NWO was formed. I mean, that's a good place to start, because that's what really... Hogan going to WCW was big. But when he turned heel, that's when WCW went to a competitor-ish. He went from just down here below WWF to on this level, and that's where it really took off.
Yeah, they strapped a rocket on their ass and just went out into the stratosphere. Like, it was insane. That moment,
man,
arguably one of the I have to say, I hate to say this, is probably the greatest moment in wrestling history, period, bar none. Fight me.
All right. So we have spent a lot more time on this than I expected.
Giving thanks to the 90s wrestling.
I didn't know you were going to have such a good example. I mean, I knew you'd have a good example, but it's like, oh my God, like we could, well, it is actually apropos because like I mentioned, I don't have a lot to say about Dynamite, just a couple things. But Dynamite did happen last.
That's it.
Well, Dynamite happened last night. Jamie, do you want to we'll prepare because we do have Full Gear coming up this weekend. So we'll go over the card in a minute here, but let's at least touch base on Dynamite from last night.
It was a go home show, and it was okay at best. Like, their all out go home was amazing. And this one just felt very meh. And that happens because I think last year's Full Gear, like if we watched it again, like the go home for that one sucked too. Like, it's just, I don't know. You can't, all of your go homes can't rock star amazing things. And some of the matches were fine. Honestly, that very first match, even though we've seen variations of it, like I think for the past 6 consecutive weeks, hashtag WWE, Bryan Danielson and Claudio versus Jericho and Sammy. Excellent match. It was a great match.
It was a good match. Very good match.
Did it trip my trigger? No, because I've already seen it. It's like Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus for 6 consecutive weeks on Monday Night Raw, which did happen.
Was it only 6 weeks?
They said, this is the last time. No, this is the last time. No, this is the last time. But anyway, that's fine. My big thing, I really enjoyed Captain Insano. Again, going back to the 90s.
I love the Captain Insano throwback. That's fantastic.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, my wife and I, our first date ever, before we were husband and wife, obviously, was to go see The Waterboy. And The Waterboy has a great scene with the Big Show, Paul White, Captain Insano. And he makes fun of The Waterboy, basically calls him a virgin, whatever. But it's near and dear to my heart because of that. And the fact that they did a Captain Insano moment with the Acclaimed as a part of their very weird music video, which was fine. The match afterwards was okay, to be honest with you. Swerve just needs to go full on heel. Yeah,
he's pretty
Swerve
much
just
there.
needs to go full heel.
I just don't. I don't. Yeah, I don't know what they're. I don't know what they're doing. If they're waiting to break up him and Keith, or I don't.
Him and Keith feuding would be excellent.
Absolutely.
Can we get there?
Just do it.
Can we get there though?
Let's just do it. Let's just do it because you've been teasing it for 6 months now.
It's starting Saturday. I'm calling it now. Starts Saturday when they lose to the Acclaimed again. And then you set the Acclaimed FTR like everybody wants.
Absolutely.
Like this guy wants.
That's
top guys.
Top guy's going to be in.
So the worst kept surprise of all time. I'm just going to fire through these.
This really bothered the hell. Yeah. By the way, there's a ton of promos they did. Just basically, it was kind of like almost like a WWE go home show is what it kind of felt like. Lots of promos.
You wonder why I did that to Wardlow? No, we know you're trying to set up a match for Full Gear. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, here's a triple threat match for Full Gear.
Hobbs. Why did I not do that? Blah blah blah. Because now we have a triple threat. Who cares?
So WWE, and then a bunch of promos that were very much just like, okay, you're getting ready for the match. I mean, fine.
I will have to give him props. Brits and Soraya's was pretty decent. Honestly,
none of them were terrible, but it's once again, it's not what we're used to with this. And I think it's because, to your point, the all-out go-home was so fantastic. We put this shit on a pedestal, and it didn't hit it. And it's fine. But let's talk about...
everybody say I do that.
What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means.
If you know the movie reference, put it in the comments below, please.
I even teed that up.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. All right. So let's talk about the Elite. You're right. The worst kept secret was broken. I mean, it's like sitting here on our show waiting for me to say hi to Ruby Soho. Hey, Ruby. I hated this.
It's so obvious what's going to happen. And there's a couple things that are very obvious as to what is going to happen. This was phase 1 of the obvious. And I hate to say this because there's another piece that comes right after this that's even more obvious of what's going to happen too.
Death
which
Triangle
pisses
breaking
me
up.
Off. Yeah, so obviously the Elite and Death Triangle are going to face each other. Elite's going to win. They're going to get their belts back like nothing ever happened.
Right.
Come right back in as champs. Yay. Which, I mean, I do miss the Elite. I think this is a good spot for them to come back in. And I do like the idea of having a feuding Death Triangle. I think there's some value there, especially having having a Pac Ray Phoenix match.
Hmm.
But then it just was. It feels so goddamn obvious, and that's what just drives me batty. Like this is not even the most obvious thing that they're doing
No.
out of this show. This was pretty damn obvious.
I mean,
Do you want me
this is to the
go?
point. I want to talk about this for just. Let me give just
Yeah.
my to the point obvious, and the reason it pisses me off is because you started off so wonderfully with the vignettes, right? And then last week you got really on the nose. It's like, okay, yes, we pretty much know the Elite is going to be at Full Gear. And now you have Pac come out and do a promo after their match, which wasn't that great. And we know who you're talking to, And so if it would have just left it at that, open ended for these guys that whatever, okay, cool, right? Don't, but then they immediately put a graphic up when it fades into the right hand side, the Elite versus Death Triangle. And I'm like, well, the whole thing is you're supposed to you want to save, like, I know that the TV contracts, the TV network has a problem with them doing giant surprises without any advance notice because they want to be able to sell it. I get it. Okay. This is a pay-per-view. You want that surprise. You want that pop. You want that, mystery, rumors floating around. What could be, like when we went to All Out last year, all those rumors going around, and we saw Ruby Soho debut, Ruby, Adam Cole, and Bryan Danielson, and it was amazing. And we didn't think we were going to get all three, and we did. And this is at least a pop that you basically pre-popped. It's like, okay, sure.
I mean, they're probably gonna have some great entrants, but still, at the end of the day, yeah, you kind of you prematurely popped, if you know what I mean.
And it doesn't mean that they're not
Um,
done with him. They can still do what I said, have like Kenny come out at the end of the show and like still, you can still do things, but I don't know. Just, you didn't need to give away the full secret, right?
yeah. So the biggest thing, the most obvious thing to me, and this is what pisses me off. This one right here. It was an excellent match. Don't get me wrong. And that's between Bandito and Ethan Page. That match was great.
That's the
Probably
best match of the night. 100%.
Hands down. Well, Ethan Page wins, so he advances, right?
Mm-hmm.
What faction is Ethan Page in?
The Firm. Stokely
Oh,
Hathaway's collection of beautiful men.
and isn't the Firm also doing something with somebody else? Who is that?
I got a thing with MJF that nobody knows what the fuck is going on.
So they got a thing with MJF, right? And the winner of this tournament gets a shot at the next AEW World Heavyweight Champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And MJF has feud with the Firm.
Yeah, I see where you're going here. They're basically this tournament's over. You know who the winner is, right?
You know who the winner. Not only do you know who the winner of this tournament is, you now know 100% without a shadow of a doubt who's winning the belt. Because they wouldn't do Ethan Page versus John Moxley. That doesn't have the sizzle that they want, especially with the feud with the Firm.
You're not wrong. I don't know where to go with that because
It pisses me off, man. Like, okay, hey guys, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're gonna tell you everything that we're gonna do.
I mean, I think that my big takeaway from this. Side note. With a show like this, Tony, you could have done 2 fucking women's matches, okay? And the one women's match you did, Tony Storm, who's now tied for the most female appearances female matches on Dynamite. Amazing. Versus Anna Jay, who I don't know when the last time she wrestled was. It's like she had all this momentum, and then you stick her in the JAS, and then Well, that
She's gone
stopped.
dark a couple times, but yeah,
She
not
still
much.
she had momentum, and then it stopped, and then now she's she's green as fuck still. You could have done a
Yeah.
second match. Okay. My biggest thing with all this is it's one of two directions that Tony's going for the pay per view. Okay. Either because of everything that happened at post All Out, he's like, fuck this noise. I'm booking the best show I can. And the show is a banger. We'll talk about, I mean, first of all, tons of matches. You got a steel cage match, 4-way, three. You got all sorts of matches, right? 3 women's matches. But I'm booking the best show that I can and not doing any sort of. So I don't want there to be any sort of surprises or anything to blow up afterwards, sort of shit, right? Or, and you tell me which way you think he's leaning here. Quite the opposite. We have big swerves, misses, introductions that we didn't even think of, massive shit happening. That's the only thing that I can really think of because of the way everything's been set up, built in for this. I don't think it's the second one. I don't believe the Sasha Banks rumors. That's bullshit. She's trolling. I don't see Sasha Banks debuting in AEW.
I mean, she did legit file trademarks for Mercedes Monet.
She filed a bunch of trademarks around the whole Monet thing, right?
Yeah.
So could it happen? Maybe, sure. To the best of my knowledge, she's still under contract with WWE.
We know nothing about her at this point.
We don't have insider information, guys. Just FYI. But I don't think it's that. I think he's just playing it safe. What do you think?
I think at 100% he's playing it safe because people are starting to get healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are going to start coming back. Hopefully, Adam Cole. It's been 144 days since he's been on TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have some heavy hitters who are going to be ready. You know, why take a chance now?
You're close to ROH breaking off, right? All reports say that first of the year they're going to have a thing.
So he's going simple, easy. But the thing is, as a poker player, you don't want your opponent to know your hand ever, and you don't want to give away tips. You don't want to give tells.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to overbet. You don't want to underbet. You don't want to do these things. Like it's a dance. He is legit giving us super tells on everything that's going on, and I don't think I'm thinking he's thinking, oh, it'd be great. Everybody won't get it, and like us marks who watch wrestling 100% get it. Oh, by the way, that's 90% of your fan base.
Yeah. Now, we could be wrong. Who knows? We'll see what Saturday transpires, but
I would love
probably
to be wrong in this
not.
scenario.
Okay.
As a person who loves to be right more than anything in this world, I really want to be wrong on this.
Okay. Well, you want to talk about card?
Yeah, you want to run through it?
Oh, you have it handy. You go.
I do.
I don't have it handy either. I can get it. I can get it. It's a race. Who's going to get the card first? Fuck it. Let's do it live, people.
I don't have it actually. Like,
all right. Full Gear.
okay, I got it.
I just pulled it up. All right, go.
We can go every other. You have the women's championship match, one of 3 women's matches. Jamie Hayter champion going, or not champion. Jamie Hayter going against Tony Storm.
You're projecting
champion.
The interim women's champion match. Wow, that was blah 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 mouthful you had there. We also have we talked about the main event is Jon Moxley, AEW World Champion, defending against MJF.
Yeah. Oh my God. The betting odds are 1 to 7. for MJF to win. And this happened right after Dynamite. Like it jumped. And you think that's bad? The Acclaimed is 1-20. Like
Yeah.
for every 20-1.
It's
No, it's one. No, it's 1-20.
1-20. Yeah, you're telegraphing. Okay.
For every $20 you put down, you win one.
Yep. All right.
All right. After that, you have the Acclaimed and Swerve in Our Glory for the AEW World Tag Team Championship.
Good number of these, of course, are championship matches. So you've got the ROH World Championship 4-way match: Chris Jericho, champion; Claudio Castagnoli, Bryan Danielson, and Sammy Guevara. I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited to see that match too.
I am. The betting odds right now for it have Chris Jericho slightly favored over Bryan Danielson.
Okay,
The long shot is Sammy.
of course he is.
And in your second women's match of the night, you have, oh my God, Jade Cargill and Nyla Rose for the TBS Championship. And I just love looking at these betting odds. We've never done this before, but I just find this very intriguing. Jade Cargill is favored 1-20.
Sounds about right.
Which sucks. I want Nyla to win so bad.
I do. The only thing that I would say, if there's any credence to, and I just said, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, but if there's any credence to it, Sasha Banks versus Nyla would be a money-making feud you could put up there on I'm just saying. Okay.
Please.
All right. And then you have a steel cage match, which we haven't seen a steel cage match since Britt and Rosa, have we?
It's been a minute, yeah.
They don't do, and I like that AEW doesn't pull them out all the time.
Agreed. Me either. That's why I poured $4. Hey.
But no. Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, Steel Cage Grudge match. Let's go. I'm happy for that.
Yes. And in your third women's match of the night, you have Saraya versus Britt, and Saraya is obviously heavily favored.
Obviously. She's, I mean, come on.
You don't have her come back to lose.
And then there's two more matches that we know of have been announced. Sting and Darby Allin versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Sure. Please be on the buy-in. Please. It won't. But please.
Yeah. And then you have your triple threat match between Samoa Joe, Wardlow, and Powerhouse Hobbs for the TNT Championship.
The definition of big meaty men slapping meat.
100%.
So, as of right now, there's not that eliminator final match like we talked about on the card. I don't know if there will be.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Originally it was supposed to be, but then they moved that. Like I said, they moved Ricky Starks' match to this Friday. It's the day before that. The winner of that's supposed to face Brian Cage somewhere, somehow, in the semifinals to then face Ethan. I feel like they're going to do it post.
That makes sense because it's supposed to be at the next named AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, winter is coming, which is in December. And you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 9 matches already. Okay?
Plenty.
That's a lot. But leave it at this. We don't need any more matches on this card, Tony.
For all of us.
Any final thoughts? So that's basically the go home there for Full Gear, man.
I mean the Faulkner World Order will be retaining our belt.
No, they won't.
Megan or myself, we will keep the belt in our house because this is our house. Whose
God,
house?
I always
FW's
hated
house.
that for some reason, and I still hate it. I don't know why. It always drove me crazy. But we shall see next week. Tune in. We're gonna find out who won our Total Spotfest pay per view pick belt. So, do you have anything else you want to get to tonight?
No, I think we spent plenty of time reminiscing on the 1990s.
Well, I want to spend just one more minute reminiscing on the 1990s, if you would. So
Okay.
we do like to kind of dip our toes into pop culture, obviously, around here. And I just want to give a quick shout out to the quintessential Batman. Lost this past week, Kevin Conroy, the voice actor for Batman the Animated Series, Batman animated movies, all the Batman video games, the Arkham video games. He even made a live action appearance on the one of the DC TV show crossover events as old Bruce Wayne. Kevin Conroy, rest in peace. Jamie and I will both, and I'll let you say a word here, but in my humble opinion, being the Batman fan that I am, right? The quintessential Batman. And if you don't believe me, go listen to some of his interviews he did. He spoke and this reverence for the ethos of Batman every time and it's beautiful, his approach to it. That's why it was always so good. So rest in peace, Kevin. Jamie?
Yeah, like I love Michael Keaton. I think he's probably the greatest on-screen Batman ever. Kevin Conroy is the greatest Batman ever. Period. I grew up on the Batman the Animated Series. You
Back in
know,
the 90s.
again,
Yep.
like he was so damn good. Him and Mark Hamill, like enough said right there.
Oh,
I mean, and the Arkham games, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight,
City.
Arkham City, Gotham Knights. He's in that as well. Like, dude, like he is the Batman. That's it. There is no one else who can fill his shoes ever again. Like there will be people who try and attempt, but there'll never be another one like him. He is the greatest. Rest in power.
So, not to end on a downside here, but we do want to just give our respects. And we will be back next week. Like I said, same bat time, same bat channel. There's a reason I do that. I am this big of a Batman fan. I have the goddamn tattoo. But we will be back. It'll be Thanksgiving, I know. So sometime over Thanksgiving, we can check us out. We're going to go over our review our picks, see who won that belt. We're going to talk about what happened. No. It's coming back to his daddy, coming back to the maker.
It's only been with his daddy once since its inception.
Technically not, because I did create it. So it was with me for a little bit when I created it, but then it came back to me once. And then it's coming.
For a week.
It's my birthday next week, God damn it. It's got to come back to me. Which now means
Are you saying I should throw the
absolutely
picks
not.
just
I
to-
will. You know, I would hate you. Even I would loathe it if you threw it at
your
first, and then
birthday?
I'd learn to
Here you
live
go.
with it, and then I'd be. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, but no, we're gonna go over that. Also, let's see what happens. See what the fallout is. Is there any surprises? Do we have a direction for ROH? I mean, those are the two biggest things that we really want to find out here. What's going to happen with those? Plus, like I said, we'll give a little more thanks, and it is going to be Thanksgiving time, so we understand that. But check us out over your Thanksgiving weekend whenever available. Like I said, all the same places. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate you guys giving us some of your time. We truly do. Absolutely appreciate it. So, Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down to Spotfest, I got 2 words for you. For life.
You even did the 2 words, and it was so set up perfectly.
I know. That's why I did the WCW variant.
And then that's where you went. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.